What's up? Oh dear. Hey you, what's up? Doing a live India talk, my daily India talk from the park today. I was gonna get on a little later, but it's already late and we didn't eat dinner or nothing yet. I didn't even cook anything for dinner. So by the time we get there, I gotta do dinner and bath time, and my daughter just be doing the most. But what's up? Hi Aztec, how are you today? Don't mind the clips in my hair. I retwisted my hair. I retwist my hair once a year. So I spent the first half of my day retwisting my hair today. It took me forever, but I got it done. Oh dear. But what's up? Thank you. Hi, Aztec. Y'all are awesome. Love and support as part of you already knows this space reflects all harmful intentions with an unease we didn't expect. Thank you for blessing the chat with the daily affirmation. Keith, how y'all day going today? Talk to me before I get started on my topic. My love, get out of that. You love my hair? It's long now, so I really don't even need the clips in it because I can just roll it around itself to keep it in place. But I put the clips just until it dries. Allow your hair to show your beauty, no worries. Thank you. Yeah, I retwist it once a year. I can see why people retwist their hair often or like once a month because of the new growth that I had and taking my time unmarrying the roots. But it's so time consuming, and honestly, I don't like where you can see my parts. I like when my roots are thick. So I just did it today because I'm like, I need to retwist my hair. I say that every day, and I just didn't have the time, and today I had the opportunity and the time, so I got it done. But what's up? Today, allow your hair. Okay, you told me that. I am well trying to get ready for the healing party tomorrow. Oh, that's tomorrow. What time is it? I might be able to get on. I am babysitting my daughter's friend tomorrow for the first half of the day. So hopefully it's early and I can get on. Ooh. You took off your shoes? Give them to mama. Give me your shoes. But today I was called to talk about domestic violence. I wanted to talk about it because it was something I had brought up in therapy, and my therapist didn't have an answer. And I think that what my ex said to me was absolutely absurd as far as the abuse I started receiving from him. So I wanted to talk to you about it and ask your opinion. So my ex had got mad because at the beginning of the year I crashed out, and I'm like, you're creating this narrative about me that I'm lazy, I'm unfit mom, all this stuff that's not true. Why don't you tell people how you've been putting your hands on me? And I remember how he told me that made him upset that I did that. One, I'm telling the truth. And then two, he said, and I quote, he said, our situation is not domestic violence because it only happened twice. I've never heard anybody say no shit like that. So how many times must somebody put their hands on you for it to be considered domestic violence? What do y'all think? No responses? It should never happen. Agreed. Agreed. It should never happen. It happens quite frequently to a lot of people, both male and female, because there are abusive and combative females. I don't know if there's more males than females that are the abusers. I don't know the statistics on that. So I agree that it shouldn't never happen. But how many times do you think? I think one time's enough. I think the first time shows the type of person you are. It also shows that you have no self-control. You are battling and dealing with something, especially for men, to put their hands on a woman. Now, I do want to clarify. In my situation, I can only speak on my situation, I got choked out twice. So there was no like, I'm curled up in the corner and I'm getting punched and kicked repeatedly. That's some women's stories. My story is that I got choked twice. And the first time was very surprising to me. I never... Both times were unprovoked, let me say that. And then the first time, at least I got an apology. I can say that. At least I got an immediate apology. But the second time, I was like, no, for me, as far as patterns go, 1 time's an anomaly, 2 times a coincidence, and I don't believe in coincidences. And if you let it get to 3 times, that's a pattern. And once you get to 3 times, it's just going to be a part of the daily structure, the daily routine. And I grew up watching all the women in my family be in abusive relationships and stick it out, try to hope that they get better, try to stay for the kids, and I'm just not built like them. The first time I put a seed in my head, it planted a seed, I'm like, wow, like I never thought that I would experience that from him, you know? And then the second time, like the first time, I got my toenail got ripped off because of like how I got thrown to the floor. My foot got caught in between the chairs and the stool. And I think that he felt bad about it because he did apologize. Like, oh, I don't know why I did that. Both times he told me he don't know why he did that. But then he said something's going on with me. Make it make sense. And then the second time, I got choked from behind. So I was like, wow, this is getting serious. And unprovoked, like I'm not a combative female. So I could see like if I was putting my hands on him, I never put my hands on, I don't put my hands on people. I always have to defend myself. People feeling like that they could put their hands on me. So let me check in with y'all. Let me see, because I can't really give you my undivided attention because I'm here, but it should never happen. What happened? May we just automatically and naturally adapt, improvise, and overcome to naturally avoid harmful intentions with every healing breath. Lack of emotional state control or low stress threshold, at least outside provoked. It was in dude's nervous system. You think so? He grew up watching it, but so did I. So I think like when you experience stuff, you either become what your environment or you become a protector. You do the complete opposite. If they were unprovoked, that was the pattern that was going to continue to take place. Thank you. That's why after the second time, I was like, no, I'm not dealing with this. Especially both times. The first time, both of our kids were there. So it's like I only have one daughter with him, but he has 3 kids. I'm the third mom with the third kid. So the kids were there, and then the second time my daughter was there, and like thank God she happened to be sleeping when this happened, so she didn't get to see it. But I was just like, no, like I am going to cut this off because it's just gonna continue to happen. I already know how the patterns are. That's why I'm like if I let it get to the third time, now I've entered the pattern stage and it's not gonna get better. That's what I talk about, the nervous system. Oh, okay, yeah, I need to tune in with you. How are you able to sleep peacefully knowing you could lose it at any time? Good question. I wasn't able to sleep. As far as the physical abuse, I wasn't scared of that. I know that's going to sound crazy. I wasn't scared of that. I was scared of the kind of energy that was there in that house, yo. And like my daughter was picking up on it. My daughter was afraid. I was afraid to like eat and drink. I started to get afraid to eat and drink because he was giving me something. I don't know what he was giving me. And then just the energy, it was the energy that I was more afraid of. As far as the physical abuse, the first time happened like a month or 2 before he hospitalized me. And then the second time was more impactful for me because this is after you locked me up saying you're concerned about me. You think I have all this stuff going on with my mental health and you want me to get better with whatever narrative you were trying to create. So why then do you feel that you would put your hands on now a quote unquote psych patient or somebody that has like they're mentally imbalanced with a chemical imbalance in their brain, whatever him and his stupid ass mother was saying. So I was just like, yeah, like you're literally trying to harm me on all aspects. Emotionally, I already been dealing with that. Now it's become physically. Mentally had been going on our entire relationship. I just couldn't figure out what was going on with that. So I was trying to dissect the mental part for a long time. But when it became physical, I was just like, yeah, like I'm not going to be my mom. I'm not going to be my aunts. I'm not going to be my cousins. I'm not going to be majority of females that I see like deal with this and just sit around and question like, oh, why is he treating me like this? Why is he putting his hands on me? And like, I'm not going to be balled up in a corner when it gets to the part where you're actually punching and kicking me. And then my kid is witnessing this. So I removed myself after the second time. But I wanted to bring that up because he was mad that I had told social media. He had no longer no control over keeping the narrative between those 2 phones and between like people who knew us personally and business wise of whatever he was trying to create about me. I'd rather shift emotional states or ghosts before that. Our patterns run everything. Yep. Good, bad, and ugly. Bullies forget their flesh bones as well. Interesting. You were in a crisis. Medical gaslighting. Never heard that terminology before. But that's very interesting. What I also thought about him telling me that it only happened 2 times, so it can't be considered DV, is that he tried to act like he doesn't remember in his head the first time that it happened. So when I told him, she's over there. When I told him, I'm like, oh, you don't remember in the kitchen when you took me down to the floor and my toenail came off? His response was, oh, but I didn't choke you. He said he face palmed me to the floor. That's just gonna make me laugh for the rest of my life. You face palm me to the floor. That even sounds worse than choking me, in my opinion. But he said that The first time he didn't choke me, he face palmed me to the floor. Which when he said that, it made me remember, like, oh yeah, he did. He did face palm me with one hand and choke me with the other one and took me down to the floor. Doesn't make it any better. Are you gonna get in the water, boo? Mo doesn't like the day. Doesn't like the light of day, does it? Does he arrange situations like this in other areas of his life? Hi, J-Man. Good day to you too. Um, I spent a long time with somebody that I don't really know. I don't really know him. I can tell you that as far as how he is as a father, I always had seen that. I thought it would be different for me. So I guess to answer your question, Keith, yeah. Did I know? I don't think that he's physically abused anyone before me, because I do remember talking to the first mom and she was like, oh yeah, he's no good. He ain't individual. And she was like, but if he's now progressed to physical harm, she's like, well, I didn't know that it got that bad. She was like, he's always been bad in a lot of different departments as far as like cheating and lying and manipulating. But so the physical, I think, is built in him. Like his dad physically abused the mom a lot. But yeah, I mean, I guess that y'all feel the same way I feel. I feel like it should never happen. And I feel for, in my case, that if I was a combative female and I was putting my hands on him, and then he just got to the point where like, yo, I told you stop putting your hands on me, or stop, and I wasn't getting the verbal cues, then by all means, knock me upside my head, yo. But I never put my hands on that man. Even after that, I was just like, the second time I was like, you shouldn't have did that, yo. You shouldn't have did that. And I remember him saying, oh, you're still talking. I don't know. He wanted to make me a zombie. He wanted me to not talk at all and to sleep all day and to just be under his command and his control. And I am a Sagittarius. You do not control me. And I'm a free spirit. You do not take away my freedom is the most important thing to me. It's weaning out of society. Clearly, women are making a difference. Equality all the way. Oh, thank you for helping with calming anchors. I don't know what that means, Keith. But Jamin, what do you mean? Elaborate more. You think that DV is weaning out of society? I think that me going through this situation and just a lot of people were reaching out to me like after I freed myself from this man, and they were just telling me how common, like I knew physical abuse from men was a common thing, because like I said, I've watched all the women in my family go through that. As far as like men playing psychological games and like admitting women to the hospital, or like trying to enslave you or put you in jail, or like try to commit you, and the sanity thing, I thought that was like all old school stuff, because you know I am very much into history, so I do know that men back in the day used to be like, oh, she's hysterical because she's bleeding, she has a period, and like men do not understand the emotional things that we go through. So I do know that that was like common back in the day. I didn't know how common it was still till this day. And there's a lot of women that don't survive from this shit, that don't come back, whether it's physical abuse or like being locked up and medicated against your will. There's a lot of women that don't bounce back from that. And then I know as far as physical abuse, there's a lot of women that lose their lives between that. And so I'm like, I'm gonna be an advocate, yo. because I almost didn't bounce back from this shit. And I very much could have lost my life to answer you, Aztec. That's what made me get up out that house, because I was just like, my daughter's afraid. And if it wasn't for my daughter, I most definitely would still be there trying to be like, please, why? All the typical stuff that women go through. So it was my daughter, and seeing like how afraid she was, and like he's giving her stuff, and like how long am I going to keep allowing that to go on, you know? You said old men, Jay? Oh, old men do that? Yeah, he wanted to control me. Oh, dads and repeating. Yeah, his dad. Definitely grew up seeing his dad do that to his mom. So that's why I'm like, I'm just talking about my experience. I don't know. I feel sorry for him. Our social orders is creating lack of emotional state control and code reading skills. Yeah, back in the day, very controlling. There's a book called The Yellow Wallpaper, or yeah, I think so. And it talks about, I gotta get it. I still haven't read it. I know that there's a movie too, but I haven't watched the movie. But my friend that's helping me and my daughter right now, this is not yours, boo. Please do not get on it. Thank you. She told me about it, and it's the same exact thing that I just went through. So I gotta get it to read it. I only use my medical skills to heal others. Yes, I love that. Hormonal instability, instant psychosis. I feel like men they don't deal with the hormone imbalance like women do, and they don't get periods, so they should not be able to try to explain or restrain what a woman is going through. I think you should be more emotionally available, and I think that you should try to understand and cope, even with like pregnancy. There's a lot of men that are detached, and I get it, but I feel like if you are in love with the person and you want this family that you're talking about, then it should be more of a catering and concern and helping them through the most difficult time. I think we're leaving, so I'm gonna get on later. We're leaving? No, you guys can go though. I'm just following her around wherever she's going. But if you're gonna get wet, go ahead. I don't think she will. Sometimes she goes, but she won't go into the splash pad here for whatever. She'll just go in the grass. Like we were just over there. Yeah. All right. Let me see. That's all hopefully stopping us more as we speak up. Facts, yo. And then, like, when I was speaking out and like begging for help, crying for help, I was like, you know what? I see why people don't speak up, because people either don't believe you or they feel like you deserved it. And that's what I was getting. My family wouldn't help me, and I was like, Doc, they're treating me as if like I deserve this, and this is entertainment for them, just like watching this shit and not helping me or my kid, yo. And I'm like crying out for help. And there's a lot of people that'd be like, well, what did you do to deserve it? And I was like, wow, like this shit is crazy. So I understand why a lot of people don't speak up, but I do wish that people do speak up more. And I'm not afraid to share my truth. I'm not afraid to share my experiences. I'm not afraid to say if I did something to that man, I just speak up about it and be like, you know, this is my part. All I did was love this person and try to understand them and try to help them with the things that they wanted help with. I wasn't trying to like change him in departments where he didn't say he didn't want change or help at. So I don't know. Let me see what else he's saying. We are more than the world has to offer. We are more than the wars of our fathers. I like that statement. I think that wars are both in men and women. And I think that you have to heal yourself. You have to actively want to heal yourself. So it always brings me back to my quote of, you are born looking like your parents, but you are gonna die looking like your choices. And you can't just be like, I'm like this because this is how my mother and father was, or I grew up like this and this is how I am. You have to take accountability and be like, I don't want to be like this. And that's where I think we connected at, or at least I thought, because I actively strive to not be like my parents or my adoptive family. And so he would always say that he doesn't want to be anything like his dad, and he wants to be a better dad and an active dad and a hands-on dad. And he ain't. It just all sounds good to whoever fucking eats it. I help others with PTSD. PMS is totally different. The therapist tried to tell me that I don't have PTSD. And I was like, lady, you don't have my life. You don't know my life. I have mad PTSD. You don't have to just be in the army to experience PTSD. And honestly, all black people have PTSD. If you want to be technical. Bullies surround themselves with a support system as well. Jamin, most definitely. Class, Keith, well said. Yeah, I'm going to check out your class. My love, are you okay? I'm going to check out your class. It's a song that reminds me of our patterns with service. What's the song? What happened, boo? What happened? Let me see. There's nothing. Let me see. Let me see, honey. There's nothing there, boo. Let me give it a kiss. Mama doesn't see any bruises or scars. The doc isn't code reading right. They weren't. I that's why I stopped going, because I was like, I'm not getting anywhere with this. But yeah, that was pretty much. This is my therapy session. This is me giving myself my own therapy and talking about it out loud to whoever will listen and want to give me some feedback. Because I didn't get none. I didn't get none from that man, and I didn't get none from therapy. And I was just like, so now I'm just doing what God told me to do, which is talk about it, share my stories, and share my thoughts. Oh, mom saves the day. Yeah, mama's kisses always makes everything better. Thank you. I don't know. My daughter won't keep her shoes on no matter where we go, which is fine because I understand. I like to ground. I like to be barefoot most of the time, but I don't know. I think she stepped on, like, she gets splinters sometimes because the parks have like wood chips. She won't keep her shoes on. We're going to Dino Land in a couple days or next week. I never been there, but I was told to get water shoes. I'm like, she's not gonna keep them on, but we'll see. But thank you, Jamin. We are meant for more by Switchfoot. Tell your daughter. Oh, thank you. Yeah, she's back better now. She's back running up the slide. But I think that's all I wanted to say about that. I just thought it was funny for somebody that's abusing you to try to still gaslight you and be like, well, it only happened twice, so it doesn't really make me an abuser. Or that tried to justify. I dealt with a lot of justification with him of like, well, it wasn't technically a choke. It was a face palm to the floor. I just had to laugh about, make light of my situation and like spread awareness of it. I think one time, if you don't stop at the one time, like accidents happen, mistakes happen, people can't control their emotions, both men and women. It's not just a woman issue. So if you didn't learn from the first time, then you actively know what you're doing. And I can't make excuses for people. People be knowing what the hell they're doing. They want you to make excuses for them and be like, they don't know what they're doing, and like keep giving them more time to like harm and abuse you and really give you mental issues. Oh, kids love dinosaurs. I don't know if my daughter's into dinosaurs, honestly. My daughter is into a lot of stuff, but I haven't seen her really get into dinosaurs. So I know that I've never been there, but we're going with my daughter's friend, and she raves about it. And so there's like an indoor water park. There is like a roller coaster, and then all different dinosaur stuff. So we'll see. I think she'll like it overall. I think I'm gonna like it. I'm a big kid. So we'll see. Sharing my verbal medicine skills to help others release their pains bring me peace and more. Humans leave too many pokey things on the ground. Keith, you're dropping a lot of facts today. I love it. I love it. Um, do you do anything with the lymphatic system? Because between the nervous system and the lymphatic system, I have a lot of blockages there, and I need a lot of help in those departments to help me release and kind of get back in the motions. You'd be a hobbit if you could. Um, yeah, so let me know if you do any practices with that. Other than that, it was heavy on my mind today. Like all the stuff that I've been through with that person affects me daily. Like I think about the things that they've done, and his family, they've done and they said to me and my daughter, and I'm like, I don't want to be talking about this shit a year from now or 2 years from now, or like I want to just get it out and talk about things that bother me or use them as teaching points and different point of views. And I've been through so many things that I'm going to use a lot of stuff in my speaking career as talking points and points of view. So I'm just backdating and working with where I'm at with what I got. Also, I'm working on so many things simultaneously. Showing up for myself, being consistent, and working through my own shit, because we all have stuff, but I don't know. I don't know. I definitely also was analyzing, like, did I deserve that? Like, what have I done to this man for him to put his hands on me or start putting it, like, how did it get to that point? It's something that I've also been processing. That's why I was in therapy. So when I was in therapy, I was writing that motherfucker apology letters. And oh, that brings up a perfect point. I was writing him apology letters, and I was trying to tell the therapist, like, he's not my husband. Like, this man strategically did this to me, and this is why I'm sitting in front of you, and I'm trying to unpack this stuff, and you're telling me to not talk about him like in a bad way. He did all these things because he cares about me. While I felt like I was still locked up in the hospital. Like, I'm still trying to advocate. Like, I'm not married to this man, and ever since I had his baby, so I've been dealing with so much shit since 2020. Ever since I had his kid, like, I met the real person right when I had his kid, yo. And so you want me to sit here and I don't have enough time, enough hours in the day to sit here and tell you about my experiences over the past 4 years. And now I'm here and nobody's listening to anything that I'm fucking saying, yo. So when I was like, I don't even know what I'm apologizing for. What am I apologizing for? And I remember asking him, I said, I have a book that I'm writing you apology letters and shit, and I don't even know what I'm apologizing for. And I remember he gave me like a half-ass hug, and then he said, good job, you're apologizing more, I appreciate it. And I said, what am I apologizing for? And he told me, he said, oh, it's because you verbally abused me. And I said, what? I verbally abused you? How? Explain, elaborate. And he couldn't elaborate. The only thing that he brought up was, he said, oh, back when we lived at 71. And this was back in 2013. So at first, I was trying to be like, what? Trying to process it. And even before having his kid, I'm like, I feel like you're trying to get back at me from me being in my depression and like how I was. But if I'm being honest, when I thought about that, because I had to process it, and I'm like, was I verbally abusing this man? And he tried to tell me like I'm mean and I throw daggers. I'm like, nah, I'm a Sagittarius. Like, I just tell the truth, and people don't like to hear the truth. Okay. Um, Activating my critical thinking skills every day. I love that for you, J-Man. So I was thinking about, like, in this relationship, have I verbally abused this man? I'm like, if you're talking about 2013, I'm not accepting that as no fucking excuse as to, I'm not accepting that I have to apologize for that. I was apologizing for it at first, but then, you know what? Something really hit me. Talking about violence. Something really hit me, and I'm like, you know what? No. In 2013, let me give you backstory. In 2013, at the end of 2012, I decided to walk away from my family. And then I had the previous ex at the time who had a whole baby on me. And I had got an apartment. I was just moving out of the apartment that I lived in previously, that I had got a 2-bedroom apartment trying to help my sister out. And we lived together for a few years, and it just wasn't working. So we decided to go our separate ways. And I had just got my new place, and I was so excited because I had finally got into a house. It was it like a 4-family house? I was finally in a house. Like, all my apartments before then were in apartment buildings. So I was like, gosh, I don't have nobody on the top of me. It was like my biggest place. It was empty. I didn't take anything with me. So I was happy about moving into the new place. Where's my daughter going? I was happy about moving to the new place. I was going into a depression, though, because, like, I was getting ready to leave the medical field. I didn't know what I was going to do. I was going through some shit with my family for, like, the 10th, 100,000th time. And I was like, I'm done with them. Like, I'm done with my family. I'm done with my sister. This man I just spent 5-6 years with had a kid on me. All types of shit. And I had decided at that time, at the end of 2012, going to 2013, like, I'm going to stop drinking. I'm going to stop partying. I'm going to stop doing all the stuff that's not serving me. So I had gotten to my new place, and I put myself in isolation. This is why COVID didn't affect me, because I put my own self in isolation in 2013. This man, like I said, I knew him before. I knew him 10 years prior because he was my brother's friend. This man was coming around trying to be like, he's my friend. Like, oh, he wanted to check in. He didn't want me to, like, be by myself and isolating myself. And I was being mean to everybody back then. And I'm like, I don't want nobody here in my space, at my house. Like, just, you don't need to check in on me. Like, I'm purposely isolating myself. Like, and I had slept in the bed for a long time. Him at the time in 2013, that entire year, he was being nice to me. And I kept trying to be mean as I could, to get him the fuck away from me. I'm like, and it was fucking with my mentality at that point in time, because I was like, damn, the meaner I am, I pushed everybody away and, like, left everybody alone. The meaner I am to this person, the nicer they are to me. And so, like, towards the end of 2013, I, like, started to, like, be like, damn, let me stop being mean, because this person's being nice. Like, he's catering, he's coming to my life, trying to act like he's helping me. But let me say this. I also knew at the same time that he was using me, because he loved the fact that he could be at my place. He, at the time, was running away from the 2 families, the 2 women that he created with the families. And the first mom learned about the second mom. She was pregnant, or maybe she was about to have a baby. I don't remember the exact details. But he was running away from that life and away from having to deal with the situation that he created. So he would tell me all the time how much he loved being at my spot, because I let him use my car. He could live in my house, and he was like, this is so peaceful over here. And so I knew that he was using me at the time. I didn't care. We weren't in no relationship. And I didn't care that he was at my place. I didn't care that he was using my car. I didn't care about nothing, because I was in a depression, and I would lay in the bed and sleep all day. So his way of being romantic, or like a good friend, and trying to, like, woo and swarm me, would be to, like, come at my house and, like, cook. And, like, he basically started moving in there. And then in 2014, we went on this business journey together. So that's where I started to fall in love with him. It's like, I'm learning business. Like, I didn't know what to do with my life. I didn't want to go back to school. I had no desires to like go back in the medical field because I had been working in that shit since I graduated high school however many years ago. And so I thought we were building a bond in 2014. I don't even consider 2013. But to talk about what he's trying to say, that I verbally abused him, you came into my space. So whatever you got, you received. And you're trying to act like you're trying to be my friend. Like, now, I wasn't cussing him out or telling him about himself or any of those things. I was talking about what was going on with me. He knew my ex. He knew my family. He knew all these people that I was venting about. So in my venting, I'm swearing, I'm cussing, I'm like, I hate these motherfuckers, all this shit. You're trying to flip that on me and trying to tell me that that's me verbally abusing you. And it's like, I used to get mad because at that point in time, I had stopped drinking, I had stopped smoking. So I had to deal with my demons, okay? I had to deal with my emotions without being intoxicated or under the influence of stuff. So I used to like sit in my room and be mad and venting to myself and like throw shit against the wall. Because I have to deal with things sober, and I have to deal with like pushing through this shit without turning to alcohol, without turning to drinking, without turning to popping a pill. And so you put yourself in my space, and now in 2024, you're trying to be like, in 2013, you were verbally abusive to me. Bro, if you don't get the fuck out of here. If you don't get the fuck out of here. And he had no other validation. He could not give me any other example. And at first I was accepting it. I was like, okay, well, maybe I should apologize to you for how I was in 2013. But no, that's definitely gaslighting and manipulating me, because you came into my space and I never did anything directly to him and call him like however I crashed out on social media. And that's what, when I crashed out at the beginning of the year, I'm like, if I was like how I'm showing up online right now, if I was doing this to this man, then yes, whatever he's trying to say in the narrative is justifiable. But no, I talked to him very nice. I talk to him loving. I talk to him kind. I show him nothing but love and respect. And I submit. And the more I submit, the more fucked up I'm getting. You're not about to... I control my breathing before I take a pill. Oh, okay. I just started getting into meditation. I've always been into yoga and Pilates. When I was exercising and stuff, even when I was drinking and smoking and popping pills and clubbing, I've always done yoga and Pilates, so I understand like breath control and all that stuff. But yeah, in 2013, like I was winging myself off of years of like partying, clubbing, and like getting rid of all my vices. So whatever you got in my space, you came into my space, cluttered it, made it a mess. All types of shit that I dealt with, and I knew that he was using me. I knew that he was running away from his situation. I didn't care. I didn't judge him. I didn't say like, oh, you ain't shit. And I wanted to... I was so caught up in the business stuff that we were doing that I didn't care about all the other baggage that he came with. I didn't care about any of that shit. And we had so many conversations and laughed and joked about it. So for him to try to flip it and be like, well, you were verbally abusive to me, when anything that happened in my space was never directed at that man and had nothing to do with that man. And you're trying to talk about 11 years later. I'm not listening to that. That's when I like snapped out of it. I'm like, I'm not listening to this shit, yo. You are playing mind games with me. I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that. Let me see, what else y'all saying? Many years, girl, I hear you. Be proud of how far you've come now. Yes, I have to be proud of how far I've come, proud of the things that I've accomplished, proud of the things I've created. Like even with that person, there was a lot of good times. They didn't last, and they just like disappeared and dried up. And I was waiting around for the good times to come back around. I was waiting for the lock-in and Like, let's create and take over and all the stuff that we talked about. And I had realized that, oh, it was me that really wanted those things. It was just for him a gift of gab, you know, and just sounding good to be in my space and to use up all my energy and stuff. But I didn't think that that was going on. I had no clue that that was what I was experiencing. So learn and master, honor your value is the path to your peace and comfort. Thank you. You will never run from me. Okay, thank you. I don't know how to say your name. I'm so sorry. I just call you Kumar. Oh, you've been here before. I just call you Kumar. I don't know how to pronounce your first name. You should never submit to any man unless that man is walking beside you, lifting you up, and comes head of any roadblocks you both encounter. Come on and preach. Preach, Aztec. You know what? He spent the last, like, once I became a mom, he spent those years telling me that the way that he was treating me is because I'm not doing enough. It's because I'm not proving how much I love him, and I'm not submitting enough. And for some crazy reason, that shit was working. And I was just like, damn, well, what more can I do? Like, and it was also reminding me of my ex before him, because I was just like, at some point in time, the relationship became, I don't love you. And you don't think, oh, I don't think that you love me. And so it become like playing on my mental and my emotions for me to give more than I'm already giving to show you, oh, what else do I got to do? Hi, how are you? I love your Minnie Mouse shirt. What more do I have to do? So that's what it became, like, draining me. Like, I know better now, but when I was in it, I didn't. And it took me a long time to be like, what? I'm not gonna keep playing this cycle, this game. So I do agree with that, Aztec. I like a lot of things. I feel like understanding and building a relationship with, like, God, and getting closer to God and getting closer to myself, and understanding, like, who I am and where I'm going and what I want to be and who I'm becoming. I understand why you should not procreate before marriage. I understand why you shouldn't submit to somebody that's not your husband. Fuck anything else you're talking about. You should not submit to somebody that's not your husband and who hasn't proved to you all the things that you're saying. So I agree with you there. In my healing service, I asked, what would be beautiful for your life to be like to build a path of your healing? Good question. I'll have to ponder on that. Only follow one that could lead. I'm so glad you brought that up, Keith. Let me explain this. This man, in 2014, when we started the business journey together, that's what he put in my head. He was like, oh, no woman before ever followed my lead. No woman before ever believe in me or want to build a business with me. And that's what he was looking for. So I raised my hand like, oh, I'll be that. I'll let you lead. I'll follow your lead. I'll believe in your goals and your business and what you want to do. And so we went on this journey. And the entire journey, the more accomplishments that we got, the more recognition we got, the more rewards that we got, the more he discredited me. The more he discredited me, man. The more he would say, like, I don't believe in him. I'm not letting him be a man. Nothing is in his name. It was crazy shit, man. And the thing about it is, like, he didn't have anything. I've always had my own places, things in my name. So I will always tell him, like, don't worry about it. Like, if you never were able to build or create nothing, or you've always saying this shit out loud is like, I deserve a punch in the face. If you've always lived with women, or quote unquote off of women, for me, I was just like, use my name. Like, let's use my name. So that's why all the business stuff was in my name. And he would talk to me as if at some point in time in their relationship, and I'm not like that. So I think he dealt with that from other women probably. But I never was just like, oh, that's why you ain't shit, you ain't got nothing, everything's in my name and I could take it from you at any given time. I think that he dealt with that in other relationships, and then I had to deal with it because I'd be like, where is this coming from? Like, I don't ever talk to you about that. I'm like, use my name. I would tell him all the time, like, use me, use me, use me. Like, we're going to build this shit together. And the more I did that, the more I got discredited and devalued, and then I started getting abused physically. I think the mental and emotional and psychological abuse was going on the entire time. I just wasn't aware of it until I got locked up. And I had time to think, like, oh shit, what the hell just happened? How did I get here? As you enjoy reading these words, realize how you adapt, improvise, and overcome to find love in every areas of your life with healing breath. Okay. Hey, Ren, what's up? What's up? How are you, girl? How are you feeling today? My Sag sister. Some can lead humans, some can lead mules. I love that. I think he's good at leading mules, not humans. If you're the math nerd, that's a good thing. You can grow wealth. Never outshine the ruler. You be dropping facts, Keith. I can tell you read a lot. Brent, if you're just joining the conversation, thank you. I was just, the combo today, the India talk today was about how many times does a man or woman have to put their hands on someone for it to be considered domestic violence? And I was just using my personal, get from under there, boo. I was using my personal experience because in my relationship, I only dealt with it twice with getting hands put on me. I got choked 2 times, and both times I got some kind of physical. The first time my toenail got ripped off, and the second time I had scratches and shit on my side. And my ex proceeded to tell me that it's not domestic violence because it only happened 2 times. So I was like, it's been, and I tried to talk about it in therapy. All the stuff that I'm talking about here in my life, I tried to not do this shit here. I try to talk about him in therapy. I try to talk with him discreetly. The reason I'm talking about it here is because for an entire year, that man told me, don't talk to him. Talk to my phone. Because he was trying to program my fucking head and try to tell me about how he did all this research about people that struggle with bipolar and how they have to take their meds and they're sharing their story and they're getting paid. So he wanted me to live in this box that he tried to create for me, and he wanted me to show up online, start showing up online and start talking about how I struggle with my emotions and how I struggle with being bipolar and how I have to take these meds that he ordained for my life. And so he told me not to talk to him and to talk to my phone. Don't talk to me, talk to your phone. Don't talk to me, talk to your phone. Talk online. Be careful what you wish for, because what you wish for, you always receive. It never comes gift wrapped, and you never know how you're gonna receive it. So I am talking to my phone, nigga. Just not in the way you thought I would. Don't bite the hand that feeds you. Facts, yo. We all have to review all things, not just the violence event, all the person's behavior. Yes. It's domestic if they even raise their hand to you. Wow. You just made a very good point. Wow. Wow. I'm going to write that in my journal. I never thought about it like that. Right, because you are pre-positioning me. You are letting me know, wow, that's really deep. I got to ponder on that a little bit more, to elaborate on it more. But yeah, you're right. I never thought about it that way. And Ren, you just got on, but he tried to tell me that the first time doesn't even count because he didn't quote unquote choke me. He face palmed me to the floor. And in my opinion, hearing that out loud, when he said that, I'm like, that even sounds worse. And then it made me think about like, oh yeah, you did face palm me. He face palmed me with one hand, and then he choked me with the other and took me down to the floor. But he at least apologized the first time. The second time, he just said, "Oh, look what you made me do. I don't even know why I did that. Something's going on with you." That was the exact response. I like it too, Keith. Good former lad. Keep up, guys, with learning and sharing. Facts, yo. Sharing is caring. Who would hit such a wonderful woman is sad to be honest. I don't know why that man, I don't. So that's why I wanted to talk about this, because I'm like, I've asked him. He told me that he wanted me to shut up. According to him, all of a sudden I talk too much and my voice is annoying and he wished I would shut up. That's what he told me. But our whole relationship was built on us talking and having hours and hours of conversations about lots of different things, and like having healthy debates about stuff. That was my favorite thing about our relationship. I was like, this is what I've been looking for. Like, I love to talk about so many different things because I am well-rounded. I have a plethora of knowledge, a plethora of skills. So I was like, how all of a sudden something that you loved became problematic? I am confused, and you're not gonna shut me the fuck up. You're not about to silence me. You're not about to make me a zombie. You're not about to make me a vegetable. You're not about to put this shit in my head that I have a mental fucking illness, and for me to feel sorry, and for me, like, this is my life now all of a sudden. Now all of a sudden I'm just like, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that. You want me to live in lack and limitation? Fuck you. Hell no. Especially after this brain that you're telling me is broken, built businesses, birthed babies for you, did mad shit. You're not about to try to make me believe this narrative that you have been creating about me for a long time that I didn't know. So, I don't know. Your ex's kids have his name attached to them, and yet he failed at that. Why does he want businesses in his name? He could have possibly failed at that as well. Hi Lucy, welcome back. I gotta get through the comments, sorry. Damn, my phone's about to die. I don't know. I was just telling him because he always felt like, oh, I don't have nothing in my name, and like I'm so late in life trying to get stuff in my name, because he's always lived with women or like mooched off of people. So I never judge this man. I accept him. I accept his bad. I accept his other kids. His second kid, I taught him mad shit. I taught him how to tie his shoes. I helped him stop peeing in the bed. I fucking used to work on mad shit because the second kid has Asperger's. All his kids have some kind of somewhere on the spectrum, and he blames it on the moms. No, it comes from you. I never judged anything. I accepted him as he was, and I believed in the theorized version of who he would talk about, who he wants to be, and who he wants to become. So I locked in on that. Like, oh yeah, like I come from a fucked up family. My mom's been on drugs my whole entire life, drinking, still struggles with it to this day. My dad, never been in my life. My dad's a fucking Rolling Stone, got mad kids. I didn't learn nothing about my dad until at his funeral. And funny thing, I'm talking about my dad in my Facebook memories today, right before my dad died. So my dad, side note, I'm gonna get distracted, sorry. My dad was never in my life, but when I grew up with my adopted family, he lived around the corner with his wife. And my dad has mad kids, and he used to come to the corner and like give my brother money. So he only had a relationship with my brother, and he always said that me and my sister wasn't his, even though a whole thing. So my dad was never in my life, and I would see him sporadically at my brother's house from time to time. He wouldn't speak to me. He only had a relationship with my brother and then my brother's kids. When I became a mom, this is why I know when people want to find you, they will. They'll find your number. They'll find where you live. If people want to have you in their lives, they'll go above and beyond to have you in their life. I had a kid, and then one day my phone rang, and it was my dad demanding to see his granddaughter, because now my dad's in his final days. He was sick, and you got to deal with all this shit. You got to deal with all your fucking karma. And he better be lucky that I was in my healing stages. I was already been healing. I was already in my self-love. I was already in my like letting shit go since 2013. But I thought it was funny. I remember doing a whole Facebook. I used to just go live on Facebook all the time. So I'd be like, yo, my dad is demanding to see his granddaughter, not his daughter. You were never in my life. You just skipped right over me and demanding to see his granddaughter. And I was like, I don't know if I'm going to go or not. But I started talking to God. And so God was like, go see your dad. So I have a picture that came up on my Facebook memories today of me, my dad, and when my daughter, when she was like 1, visiting him at his at his house. I drove to go see him. I visit him, and I think I seen him one more time, and then he was in the hospital. And I was like, I'm not gonna go see him on his deathbed. I refused that. I sat with so many people on their fucking deathbeds when I was working in the hospitals and nursing homes and rehabs and all that types of shit. And it used to bother me. There was every person I've sat with on their deathbed, guess what they cried about? They cried about, no, I'm talking on my phone. Girl, get on my conversation. They cried about how their kids don't come see them. And oh, woe, it's me. And I used to feel bad. I used to be like, damn, you sitting here with a stranger. And damn, why won't your kids come see you? And then I thought about like, well, what did you do? I never looked at it that way at first. But damn, sorry y'all, I just went on a whole tangent. Oh yeah, but you're saying about his business and his name. I don't know. So I was just like, use my name, like use me, use me, use me. So I can't be mad that he used me because I told him to. And I knew he was using me from jump. I just thought that my love and my submitting and my loyalty and my trust, and I thought that I was helping him to see like there is somebody out there that will believe in you and give to you and won't hold nothing over your head, and that shit backfired. You got medicated. Jamin, what's up with your emojis? What did they mean? Hi, Lucy Goosey. I like your name. One love. Brendan says exactly. I'm back. What do you desire to be, have, or do? I'll come back to that. Yes, get it. Yes, no, he's on drugs. He smokes weed. That's the only drug that I know of. I know we used to pop pills together. When I was working in the hospitals, I had access to medication. Like, and that's what nurses do. Like, most nurses are on the meds that they prescribe to people. And it's so easy to, like, just swipe them shits and put it in your pocket. So, I don't think he does anything else. He smokes weed. He's addicted. He's, like, almost like a crackhead when it comes to weed, yo. And he'll have a whole meltdown if he can't get high. And I gotta always wait for him to like get high so we can eat, so we can go outside. I used to be like, damn, like this is bad. This is almost like a crack addiction. Like, but I didn't judge him. I would just be like, and in the beginning, like 2014, 15, I was still smoking weed. So we used to smoke together. But he chain smokes, like, and I used to have to take breaks. Like, I can't keep smoking like this. And then I eventually just stopped smoking, like, what was that, 2018? Yeah. So, yeah, he was gaslighting me, and I didn't know. He used to just be like, it's you, it's not me. You think that's me, Lucy? Yeah. Physical and emotional abuse is just wrong. Yeah, I don't know which one is worse. I think physical abuse is bad, but I think emotional and psychological abuse is worse. Yo, you could really try to take somebody's brain and siphon their energy. So I don't know. Which one do you think is worse? Or I think they're all bad, but I think a few of them can have a more detrimental outcome than just physical, honestly. He needs to get a life. He got one, girl. He's living his best life according to him. He's at peace now. He used to be a victim as well. I'm so sorry, Ben. This is common. I didn't know how common it was and how deep the rabbit hole goes. My dad had drugs and my mom was in a motel for 8 years. Yeah, my mom has had a hard life. And yeah, my mom still struggles. But I love my mom. Like, my mom is my mom. I wouldn't be here without my mom or my dad. So I learned about my dad's life at his funeral, though. And I met a lot of my other brothers and sisters. I really don't know how many brothers and sisters I have. Outside of my mom and my dad, I have a older brother. I'm the middle child. I have a younger sister. And then my dad, how many kids my dad has, I really don't know. None of us know. Your mom passed away during COVID. I am so sorry to hear that. COVID took a lot of people out. I'm sorry, Keith. Your dad's in Texas. Yo, every day that I get on live, somebody brings up Texas. I think I need to move to Texas. I think that's where I'm supposed to go because it just comes on here every day. You got rapid recovery. Oh, do you specialize in EMDR therapy? That's what I'm looking to get into. Yeah, it's real though, because cause and effect, don't dish it if you can't take it. Yeah, what I've learned with that man, and especially just men in general, is that they cannot dish what they take. They're like big babies, toddlers, tantrums. Own up for what you did if you're never going to be free from, or you're never going to be free from it. Facts. Or is my child going? All right. All right. Patience is leaving. I think Patience is going back to the playground. How many more minutes? Or let me know. I'm just letting you know I'm following her. Okay. Just positive love emojis. It was like a hand making a heart. Oh, okay. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the heart. He should look up at the drug of hypnotic induction. I don't know. I'm not trying to help that man no more. Trying to help him almost took my life. I'm straight. Emotional is worse. It messes with your head. Facts. And psychological. There's so many levels of abuse, yo. I definitely think it's worse. So we're here. The body healing quicker than our memory. Good to know. The face one was when you said that word. I know. That's why I be using the term kangaroo. But sometimes the N word applies, yo. But I don't have to use it. It's just like, he is a nigga, yo. And I already knew that. I already knew that he was that and a loser. I already knew that. I just wanted to believe. I believe in people. I believe that people could change. I believe that people could be who. Oh dear. Are you okay? Okay. You don't stay there too long. But yeah, I don't have to. It's been back in my vocabulary the last year because I've been pissed about what this ninja did to me, and I was like, I don't have to use the word, but sometimes shit applies, man. Absolutely, Keith. Texas, please. Right, I gotta come to Texas. Keith is spitting facts. He's going ham. J-Man, kangaroo. Yeah, I gave the kangaroo theory yesterday. Kangaroos are the N-words of the animal kingdom, operating on that MOB mentality and loving men more than they love women and kids. He was born in Houston, yeah. So that was my India talk for today. I thank y'all for tuning in with me. We're getting ready to leave the park, and it's like at 6:30. Oh my gosh. I love y'all for rocking out with me. I will be back tomorrow with another India talk. I never know what I'm going to talk about, and it's always coming from my healing and my true life experience, and then I always throw some generalized examples and facts in there. I retwisted my hair today. So that's what I spent most of my day doing. So I feel accomplished about my day, but sad. Thank y'all for sharing y'all feedback. Thank you for engaging with me. I gotta leave y'all with my three quotes, my three messages, which is always, don't let anybody label you, because those who want to label you want you to live in lack and not in your purpose. Oh snap. I don't think people should talk to their kids like that. When I see people verbally abusing their kids or physically abusing their kids, that shit pisses me off. Like, you shouldn't have had kids, bro. Anywho, don't let anybody put you in a box, because those who try to put you in a box is simply because they cannot get out of theirs. And if you let them put you in a box, they'll put you in a ditch. That man, every time I say that man told me he'd let me die in a ditch. Hypothetically. And 3, don't forget to turn your life into a lifestyle. And you do that simply by participating in your own rescue, taking your life into your own hands and saving yourself, because nobody's coming to save you. Absolutely nobody's coming to save you, so you have to save yourself. And if you're able to tap into yourself more and out of the world less, you will be able to save yourself and turn your life into the life that you were meant to live. Not the life that your parents want you to live, not the life that society creates for you to live in, and not the life that the job systems and the school systems try to mold you to live in. You have a purpose. You got to figure out what that purpose is. Your purpose is solving a problem. So you got to figure out what problem you were born to solve to live in your purpose, okay? And if you do that, you will live in your abundance and your prosperity, which is your birthright. So until tomorrow, I hope that y'all have a good night. And thank you for the love. Thank you for the emojis. Thank you for the engagement, because the engagement keeps me going. Thank you for the feedback. I'm going to ponder on some stuff y'all said and write them in my journal. And until tomorrow.